2 out of 3 road games down. Big time game coming up. Division opponent on the road again. Great opportunity to go out, just continue to keep building something great that we have brewing here. Guys are gelling well, connecting well. We got the 2 new specs kind of getting game number 2 under their belt. So the operation is starting to clean up and they're gaining more and more confidence amongst each other, which is a positive thing. Tough opponent coming up. I think Hightower does an unbelievable job with this unit. He's got a lot of good players over there. The punter that they drafted is hitting it really, really well. Got good returners on the back end. Physical group playing with high energy. So the guys are going to be really revved up for this one. Looking forward to it. Being a very physical and violent matchup, as I know both teams got a lot on the plate.
What you think of Parker's outfit to the stadium? Cowboy hat.
Oh man! Clearly these guys are listening to the pressers because I guess he took the undertaking and ran with it. I love it. That's. Guys, we always gonna preach, be yourselves, and that's kind of how Park is, man. I love it though. I love him, and guys got a kick out of it. So yeah, 10 out of 10 on that. 10 out of 10.
As far as Bo Richter kind of emerging as a player, you guys are using a lot of special teams. So what did you see from him early on training camp, and then after he was moved up, and what he's done for you?
Yeah, I love Bo Richter. I'm glad you brought that up, Matt, because you look at this guy and the development of him and what he's been able to do week in and week out, and you can kind of clearly see progression from just his play. The thing that you love so much is that he's much faster than what he looks. He's a very explosive athlete. I mean, the guy had, really how he jumped off the radar for us in the undrafted processes. He ended up having, I want to say, 10.5 sacks at Air Force. And regardless of what level, what school you at, in order to have that type of production, you got to be some type of player. And, when we got him in, we didn't really see too much of the guy during OTAs because he had a hamstring. And so he was really on the sideline. And we didn't get a true opportunity to really evaluate him until he came back for training camp. And he really jumped off the tape from day one when we were just in a ramp-up period. And, there was a lot of whistles going around. And, this guy has some bend to him, which you really wouldn't expect because he's a little bit more of a stockier built. But this guy can bend. He's explosive. He's fast. What I love the most about him is that you can match him up, on bigger bodies, smaller bodies. He's strong enough. He's kind of got that combo to him where he's got a good mixture of speed, power, and size. And so that's really what you love. And, being an Air Force guy, he's going to do exactly what you tell him to do. He's going to be very attentive to the details, and he's going to execute at a high level. And I think he probably had one of his best games just this past Sunday. I mean, one-on-one blocks. He's locking guys down. He had 2 tackles in the cover phases, a couple knockdowns out there. I mean, this guy's playing with his hair on fire. It's funny, I was meeting with Brandon Powell this morning, and, BP even noticed how made a comment about, his Bo Richter's play and how much he appreciates him and wants him out there on the field, and even mentioned, even though he's an Air Force guy, he wanted to see him talk a little trash out there after he finished dogging somebody out. But he's like, that's what he wants to see out of Bo Richter. But he's like, he's an Air Force guy, so maybe whatever, stigma that might bring, so, yeah.
Surprising that Powell wants somebody to talk trash.
Right? Yeah, I know, right? Imagine that.
Matt, what have you thought of Tren Strickland as a gunner?
Strickland has been a huge addition for us. And, it's funny, the first couple of weeks, he kind of had a little bit more of an officer role with Jay kind of going down in the first game of the season. But, as soon as he got inserted into the lineup, it was an immediate impact for him. And, after those first couple of games, we stacked up 3 tackles. He came to me. He was like, really, that's on me. I should have been out here. That's what he was saying. Like, this should have been my role from Jump Street. And he's taking full ownership, considering he hasn't really been in this position, in this role since 2019, from his time in Buffalo and in Miami, where he kind of had a larger offensive role. And so now for him to kind of get back to his roots and get back to really how he made his hay in this league, says a lot about who he is as a person, understanding clear job responsibility and how he can have a huge impact on this team. He continues to dominate at an elite level. I mean, the play that he made on that Sky situation, catching that thing at the 1-yard line, is huge, and it's a difficult play to make. But he continues to strive and continues to kind of be that engine for the unit. And he's got supreme confidence out there. He always goes in the games thinking like, whoever the opposite gunner is that we talk about, he's out to prove that, he's better than that guy. And so, week in and week out, that's kind of his goal.
Matt, what'd you think of Tai Chandler's return? Just his overall impact, what he's at?
Yeah, it's again, we haven't had that many opportunities, and at the beginning of the year when we were getting it, Ty obviously was our number 2 running back, and so we couldn't really put him back there, put him in a position where he possibly might injure himself, and now we're down to 1 back, and so with the addition of Cam kind of coming on, it kind of allowed us to be able to use Ty again, and good things happen when this guy gets the ball. He's explosive. He's got good vision, good contact balance back there. He understands and know how to set up blocks. So, to finally get an opportunity, and, we always talk about really maximizing each and every rep that you get because, it's a one-play sequence we're talking about here. And so, we knew kind of going in that we would have what we thought to be an advantageous position kind of on that kickoff unit, and we knew we had to maximize the opportunity that we did get. And we were kind of able to do that. And, it's always one block here and there. You watch the tape, it's like, this could have went the distance. But, some things we can definitely clean up. But, as long as we continue to get opportunities, we want to make sure we're maximizing them. But love having Ty with the ball in his hands.
When the kickoff rule first came out, a lot of the analysis was that you'd have to have 2 guys back all the time to be worried about not being able to field the ball, I guess.
Right, for sure. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, in terms of trying to make sure you gain possession of the football.
Yeah.
But, as the season goes on, you start to see more and more tendencies, what kickers are capable of doing in terms of placing, ball placement, getting the ball on the ground, is a coordinator willing to take that type of risk knowing that if it doesn't get into the landing zone, now the ball is going out to the 40-yard line. And so there's a lot of strategic personnel, that kind of goes into making that decision, or if you feel good about only having one guy back there, from a schematic standpoint, from a personnel standpoint, the kicker that you're playing, the coordinator that you're playing as well. And so, we felt good about just having Ty back there. I mean, he's got enough speed to be able to, go sideline to sideline to be able to go get those balls if they do end up kind of being on the ground, if they do try to go coffin corner kick it. So we got the trust in him to be able to go execute that.
That can be a weekly thing, or are you just going to do it only when?
Yeah, for sure. That definitely could be a possible weekly thing that we'll kind of continue to do moving forward.
Ty's personal foul, what's the coaching point there? It seems pretty bang.
Yeah, those are the, we always talk about the combative versus the non-combative penalties, and a big thing we always talk about is violence on the sideline, and that's just violence on the sideline right there. At the time the runner started stepping out of bounds, Ty was already in launch mode right there, where when he took off, the guy was still in bounds. That's just something we got to be able to live with. That's just a part of our play style and who we are. I'm not gonna knock Ty for that type of hit on the sideline right there. So yeah, that's football. Ticky tacky. Is he in? Is he out? Those type of calls could go either way. Honestly, in terms of do they call it? Do they not? It was a runner treading right down the sideline. So continue to be had that aggressive mindset. Is my thought.
What did you see from the blocked field goal that the Packers pulled off against?
Yeah, it's a whole lot of talk on that right there in terms of covering up the snapper. Did they hit the snapper? But we had a long talk about this because it was happening during the preseason, just kind of amongst us as coordinators, and wanted to reach out to officials about hey, there's a lot of basically double penetration happening amongst, going into the 8 yards, where now you're getting guys hitting the head of the long snapper. Do you call it? From what they told us, it's going to be a judgment call. If they consider it, is it not? I say Green Bay has probably perfected it, in terms of being able to get those, really 4 guys really kind of coming into the shoulders, head, neck area of the snapper. It's kind of a gray area, but it's a great job by them. Was a kick slightly low, a little trajectory on it, a little low, yes. Could have been a foul for hitting the long snapper in the head? Possibly, yes, but, the game played out the way it did, and, so in favor of Green Bay.
Thank you.
Cool, appreciate y'all.